Jason Allen is there. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening, Nora. I'm just about a block away from that historic Sandman Signature Hotel that you were just talking about, where that powerful blast rocked the downtown area this afternoon. The power of the blast so strong that there was debris from that explosion that was sent a block or two in a couple of different directions. You can see what is left of the windows and the facade of that building all littering the street, and there were some other businesses nearby that were also damaged. There was broken glass on the sidewalks and street, either from just the force of the blast or the debris that was sent flying. This explosion happened just after 4 o'clock this afternoon Eastern time. The fire department, at least initially, believes that this was a gas explosion. There are dozens of firefighters that responded here to the area. Police have taped it off a big part of downtown, at least a couple of blocks in each direction. Right now, we're told 11 people were injured, one critically, another couple in serious condition, and we saw at least one person taken away on a stretcher. At times tonight, when the wind blows in the right direction, you can still smell natural gas in the area. This is a 20-story historic building built back in 1920. We talked to one of the people who was in the building when the explosion happened. Nora, he found that the stairwell had been blown away. He had to jump down to the first floor in order to escape.
Frightening situation. Jason Allen, thank you very much. Let's turn now to the weather with a 1-2 punch of massive winter storms slamming the country from the Pacific Northwest to New England. Nearly 250 million Americans are in the path of dangerous weather across 47 states, including many with blizzard warnings, tornado warnings, and flood alerts. Let's bring in meteorologist Mike Bettis from our partners at the Weather Channel. Good evening, Mike.
Nora, good evening. Another blockbuster storm creating dangerous weather for almost everyone east of the Rockies. Severe weather across the south, highlighted in red the most likely areas for tornadoes even. Heavy rain pouring out of this one. It happens overnight and through the day tomorrow, finally exiting by tomorrow night. A lot of heavy rain across the Midwest and the Northeast through the day tomorrow. There's a lot of snow as well across the Midwest. Places like Kansas City, Chicago get blasted, and then snow across New England. Oh, and everyone gets very intense winds. Winds could be gusting to 50 miles an hour in many locations. There's a footprint of the snow here from the Quad Cities into Chicago and Milwaukee, snow across northern New England, heavy rain along the I-95 corridor, and that could eventually, Nora, lead to more flooding, eventually melting some of the snow that we just picked up over the weekend.
Mike, thank you. Back here in Washington, we're learning new details about Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's mysterious hospitalization at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, which went unannounced for days. Well, he's now out of the ICU. The Pentagon just said they don't have a release date yet for him. And there are big questions tonight now that we know the White House and even his Deputy Secretary of Defense were kept in the dark about this medical emergency. CBS's David Martin has new reporting from the Pentagon.
President Biden said today he has full confidence in Lloyd Austin, but his aides did not hide their displeasure that the commander-in-chief was not told his Secretary of Defense was in intensive care on New Year's Day.
I think there's an expectation that when a cabinet official becomes hospitalized, that will be notified up the chain of command.
The Pentagon acknowledged today that Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Austin's chief of staff, and his spokesman all knew on January 2nd the secretary had been hospitalized, but waited for 2 more days before telling the White House. Austin had been at home recovering from an elective medical procedure when he started experiencing severe pain and was rushed to Walter Reed and admitted to the ICU.
You have, for all intents and purposes, a break in the chain of command.
Former Secretary of Defense Mark Esper.
If the Secretary of Defense is being taken to the hospital in an ambulance, it seems to me that you would give somebody at the White House a heads up.
Authority was transferred to the Deputy Secretary of Defense, but again, no one told the White House. With Austin still in the ICU, a U.S. drone carried out a strike approved by the president 3 days earlier. Only then did Austin's chief of staff finally notify the White House of his condition. Another day went by before Congress and the public were told. Republican Senator Roger Wicker sits on the Armed Services Committee.
When the chain of command is altered in this way over decisions that are really, really very significant, the Congress has to be notified.
Austin is still in the hospital and still in some pain, but his spokesman says he has no intention of resigning. The secretary admits it took too long to notify the president, Congress, and the public and has ordered a review of what went wrong. Nora?
Still a lot of questions. David Martin at the Pentagon, thank you. Well, turning now to the 2024 race for the White House. The Iowa caucuses are just 1 week from tonight, with Donald Trump holding a commanding lead over his Republican rivals. CBS's Ed O'Keefe reports President Biden traveled to South Carolina, where today he called out Trump for glorifying political violence.
The truth is under assault in America.
Making concerns about the future of democracy a central theme of his campaign, President Biden struck back former President Donald Trump, who's defended those serving time for the events of January 6th, 2021.
Some people call them prisoners. I call them hostages. Release the J6 hostages, Joe.
Of the 1,200 people charged, more than 700 admitted they broke the law. Nearly 500 were sentenced to prison time.
They tried to steal an election. Now they're trying to steal history, telling us that violent mob was, and I quote, a peaceful protest.
The president also called out Trump for his response to last week's school shooting in Iowa.
We have to get over it. We have to move forward.
My response is we have to stop it.
Biden gave a political speech from the pulpit of the historically black Methodist Church in Charleston that was the site of a 2015 mass shooting. He criticized Nikki Haley, South Carolina's former governor, now a GOP presidential contender, for recently failing to mention slavery as a reason for the Civil War.
I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do.
So let me be clear, for those who don't seem to know, slavery was the cause of the Civil War.
Haley later clarified those comments.
Of course the Civil War was about slavery. We know that.
Trump still leads in Iowa by double digits. He's built an army of volunteers, the kind of robust operation he didn't have when he first ran and lost here.
One concern, however, here for all campaigns, the weather. There is snow, high winds, and plunging temperatures forecast in the coming days. Campaign aides tell CBS News they know that could keep supporters away from upcoming rallies and on caucus night.
All right.
Nora?
Ed with our political and weather report tonight. Thank you, Ed. Well, heading overseas, Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Israel tonight as part of his Mideast tour to try to prevent the conflict from expanding across the region. CBS's Ian Lee reports Israel says it is scaling back its military offensive inside Gaza as it begins a new phase of the war.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken's visit comes at a critical time. A top priority, preventing war on Israel's northern border. Today, Hezbollah accused Israel of killing one of its most senior commanders. Wissam El-Tawil worked closely with Iran. His death comes days after a heavy barrage of Hezbollah rockets targeted an Israeli base.
It's clearly not in the interest of anyone, Israel, Lebanon, Hezbollah for that matter, to see this escalate.
Blinken will also push Israel to do more to protect civilians in Gaza. Over 23,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to the Hamas-run Ministry of Health. While the UN reports roughly a third of Gaza's overwhelmed hospitals are still operating.
It's, as you can see, a chaotic scene.
Israel's military is shifting tactics in northern Gaza to a more surgical operation, while the main focus moves to hunting Hamas in central and southern Gaza, targeting the militants' leadership while searching for hostages. Secretary Blinken is expected to discuss the ongoing regional efforts to bring home the more than 100 captives, including 6 Americans. The secretary will also travel to the West Bank, Nora, to meet Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. This comes amid the highest level of violence in decades. More than 300 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces and settlers since October.
Ian Lee in Tel Aviv tonight. Thank you. Pope Francis made headlines today by calling for a universal ban on surrogate motherhood. The Pope called the practice despicable, taking particular issue with contracts where women are paid by individuals or couples to carry their embryos. The Catholic Church has long opposed surrogacy and even in vitro fertilization. Tonight, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is back at the U.S. southern border, where today he called the immigration system broken. This is a CBS News poll finds 3/4 of Americans describe the border situation as very serious or a crisis. CBS's Adam Yamaguchi takes an in-depth look at the steps being taken to crack down on migrant crossings.
Walk over, right? There.
At a remote town east of San Diego, it's this easy to cross the border. This hole in the wall has made Jacumba Hot Springs a popular destination for migrants coming into the U.S. illegally. I just walked through the gap when Mexican authorities rushed up.
Moments ago, I was chased by Mexican National Guard. I had circled around the wall. The actual U.S.-Mexico border is a few feet beyond this, so I was technically still in the U.S.
Sam Schultz is a longtime resident of the area.
I've never seen that before.
You've never seen the National Guard out here like this?
Like doing this, no.
The Mexican National Guard is on high alert. Last week, American officials pressured Mexican authorities to tamp down record numbers of illegal crossings. And so far, it's making an impact. Daily apprehensions across the southern border have fallen by over 50% since hitting a record in December. But still, some migrants were gathering here by the dozens when we visited.
Phones in the bag? Okay.
This man traveled from Turkey.
You say like save the people, you say it's like free country.
Many of the migrants passing through here first come to Mexico via the Tijuana International Airport. From the airport, people then journey by bus to open areas of the border. Led by smugglers, they cross illegally on foot. With suitcases and passports in hand, they then wait to be apprehended on the other side. This method of entry is often easier and quicker than obtaining an immigration visa, and gives people time in the U.S. as they wait for the immigration court cases to be decided, which often takes years. Schultz, who helps provide food and other goods to migrants here, says these tents won't stay empty for long.
What it is, there's a pent-up dam of demand to come across. All we can do is just be ready for the next deluge to come, because it's gonna come.
Adam Yamaguchi, CBS News, Jacumba Hot Springs, California.
NASA's first moon landing mission in decades runs into trouble. Those details next.
Liftoff of the first United.
The will states that Mr. Marbles will receive everything he needs in perpetuity thanks to auto ship from Chewy.
I always loved that old man.
And he gets the summer house.
What? Shop and get a $30 e-gift card through January 14th at Chewy.
You won't.
When your child has moderate to severe eczema, it's okay for them to show off. Show off their clearer skin and noticeably less itch with Dupixent. Because children 6 months and older with eczema have plenty of reasons to show off their skin. With Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists, they can stay ahead of their eczema. It helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema to help heal your child's skin from within. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Show off to the world. Ask your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent.
Tonight, it appears NASA's first mission to land on the moon in more than 50 years may be doomed. After a perfect launch from Cape Canaveral, the privately owned uncrewed spacecraft started losing power. Flight controllers are struggling to keep the solar panels aligned to recharge the batteries. It's unclear if the craft will still make it to the moon next month. Tiger Woods made a major announcement about his future today. We'll tell you about it next.
There's the guy who said his trade-in was in perfect condition.
Well, what do you think?
Well, let's see here. It looks pretty nice on the outside. Oh, got a teeny tiny scratch right there, and whoa, game changer. You didn't tell me that you had WeatherTech floor liners?
Of course. I also have the cargo liner and seat protector.
I mean, the carpet looks brand new.
So what do you think of my trade-in now?
It just went up, way up.
Thought so.
Protect your investment. Order your American-made products at WeatherTech.com.
Kate made progress with her mental health, but her medication caused unintentional movements in her face, hands, and feet called tardive dyskinesia, or TD. So her doctor prescribed Austedo XR, a once-daily TD treatment for adults. Austedo XR significantly reduced Kate's TD movements. Some people saw a response as early as 2 weeks. With Austedo XR, Kate can stay on her mental health meds.
Oh, hi, buddy. Austedo XR can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions in patients with Huntington's disease. Pay close attention to and call your doctor if you become depressed, have sudden changes in mood, or have suicidal thoughts. Don't take if you have liver problems, are taking reserpine, tetrabenazine, or valbenazine. Austedo XR may cause irregular or fast heartbeat or abnormal movements. Seek help for fever, stiff muscles, problems thinking, or sweating. Common side effects include inflammation of the nose and throat, insomnia, and sleepiness.
Ask your doctor for Austedo XR.
How do I do it all? With a little help. And to support my family's immune health, I choose Airborne. It has an unbeatable amount of vitamin C, plus a unique blend of immune-focused ingredients to turn up our immune support. Airborne, turn up your immune support.
This week's Super Bowl predictions from James Brown and Gronk.
Plus the most famous tailgate in all of football, only on CBS Mornings.
News 8 Now and Dairyland Power Cooperative present the Community Calendar.
Enjoy an evening of folk music as the Pump House Regional Arts Center presents John Smith with Dan Sobronic, Larry Dalton, and Elise Smith-Waller, January 12th and 13th at 7:30 p.m. It's the Midwest Players Classic High School Basketball Showcase Friday and Saturday, January 12th and 13th, happening at the Lacrosse Center.
For more information on these events, or if you'd like to submit an event, visit news8000.com.
Golf great Tiger Woods announced today that his longtime partnership with Nike has ended. The 15-time major champion has worn Nike since signing with the company nearly 3 decades ago, raking in hundreds of millions of dollars in endorsement fees. Wonder what happens to the red shirt. All right, the historic moments made at the Golden Globes. That's next.
This portion of the CBS Evening News is sponsored by Ancestry. Discover, preserve, represent.
There's 2 things a young man want to be: cowboy or a gangster. And a gangster is out of style. I got back to my roots. We come from a long line of cowboys. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, my aunt even rode horses. When I see all of us out here on this ranch, I see how far our legacy can go.
Now on sale at Ancestry.
I have type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well. It's a little pill with a big story to tell. I take once daily Jardiance. At each day start, as time went on, it was easy to see. I'm lowering my A1C.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
It's bacon! Smoky bacon, meaty bacon, tasty bacon, bacon! Oh, I love you.
Dogs go bonkers for Beggin. And try new Beggin flavor sticks.
Sticks!
Good morning with Dulcolax.
Good morning.
Hey.
Yeah.
Try Dulcolax Chewy Fruit Bites for fast and gentle constipation relief in as little as 30 minutes. Making your good morning even better with Dulcolax.
I will never again lose to my brother, decided Issa, because I've switched to Consumer Cellular, and now I get the same coverage he's got for half the cost. I'm the one who wins. Birds, when freedom calls, we're here to answer.
I'm not just accomplished, I am accomplishing. So I'm doing all I can to help lower my risk of breaking a bone.
For postmenopausal women with osteoporosis at high risk for fracture, taking calcium and vitamin D may not be enough. Adding Prolia is proven to help strengthen bones and reduce spine fracture risk by 68% with one shot every 6 months. Do not take Prolia if you have low blood calcium, are pregnant, are allergic to it, or take Xgeva. Serious allergic reactions like low blood pressure, trouble breathing, throat tightness, face, lip, or tongue swelling, rash, itching, or hives have happened. Tell your doctor about dental problems, as severe jawbone problems may happen with Prolia, or about pain in your hip, groin, or thigh, as unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred. Talk to your doctor before stopping, skipping, or delaying Prolia, as spine and other fractures have occurred. Serious side effects like low blood calcium, serious infections which could need hospitalization, skin problems, and severe bone, joint, or muscle pain have occurred.
I have so much more to accomplish.
Talk to your doctor about Prolia.
Tonight on The Late Show, Steven's got the new host of After Midnight,
Taylor Tomlinson.
And Barbara Streisand takes the Colbert Questionnaire. New tonight on CBS.
The movie Oppenheimer dominated the Golden Globes last night here on CBS, winning Best Drama, Director, and the top drama acting awards for Cillian Murphy and Robert Downey Jr. Poor Things, starring Emma Stone, pulled off an upset victory over Barbie for Best Comedy or Musical. Lily Gladstone won Best Actress in a dramatic film for Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, making history as the first Indigenous winner. And in more historic firsts, Ali Wong and Steven Yeun won for their roles in the Netflix series Beef, becoming the first Asian actors to win in their categories. What a night. Congratulations to all. And that's tonight's CBS Evening News. I'm Nora O'Donnell. Good night.
Right now at 6, a winter storm on the way. How Gunderson is aiming to help the unsheltered population.
And Wisconsin Republicans unveiled their medical marijuana proposal. And it's not exactly what Democrats were hoping for.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 6. I'm Ken Kozarowski.
And I'm Emily Brown.
Well, a winter storm is on the way to the Cooley region. It'll have varying effects of snow totals depending on where you are in the driftless region, but it is the sign of a busy week ahead of us. So let's get the latest from Chief Meteorologist Greg Barnhart.
Yes, winter finally showed up here. It's taken us December off, but we're going to pay for it this week, I think, especially towards the end. But we do have the first winter storm here that's going to be approaching here later tonight through tomorrow. It'll be probably till morning. You see a lot of snow, but overnight we'll see some light snow. Right now, just quiet, calm conditions. Not too bad, actually, with 33 degrees here in Eau Claire, but we do have the alert day, and it's a combination of snow, and eventually it'll be blowing snow more as we go towards tomorrow evening. Worst conditions south of I-90. It really tails off as you go north of 94, especially up towards Ladysmith. Winter storm warnings are there. Once again, the heaviest amounts towards Crawford County as you go towards Ladysmith 1 to 2. Some of the higher amounts probably will be in the higher elevations, especially the bluff areas and ridge areas. Those will also be more prone for that blowing and drifting. Right now, just radar shows all the activity really to the south. The only thing that's hitting the ground is towards Mason, and then that's just light snow. So we'll just see cloud cover, maybe a flurry or two. That's the system that's going to be continuing to come through our area. So overall, calm conditions for most part across, with a little light snow developing towards 11 p.m. Once again, notice the temperature is still above freezing, and Eau Claire probably not seeing any of that snow really till after midnight towards tomorrow morning. Temperatures still fairly mild. And then once again, we need the winter gear, gear there for the snow. So depending on where you're at, you'll need a snow blower, snow shovel, or maybe places up the north won't need much at all as you go up there. So I'll break all that down, including what those temperatures look like towards next week, which aren't that pretty when we get to Saturday and Sunday.
Oh boy.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Greg.
Well, with the winter conditions, concern for La Crosse's unsheltered population is growing.
With hours to go before the first major storm of the season, shelters across the region are already feeling the impacts. News 8 Now's Jeremy Wall is at the Salvation Army with the details. Jeremy?
Yeah, Emily, the worst is still yet to come. And earlier I spoke with the Salvation Army. They tell me that they're already at capacity, and anyone looking to go there and, spend the night, well, should prepare to look elsewhere.
It's the race before the storm.
We've been giving out winter apparel, coats, hats, scarves, mittens, socks, and when we've had them, some boots.
Doing what they can to keep people warm ahead of the snowstorm. With the shelter already at capacity, Major Alan Hellstrom says it's all they can do.
Since all of our beds are full, that's all we can do. We can't take any more in. We can't create any more beds. When we're full, we're full.
Instead, the nonprofit is working with other agencies like Catholic Charities to try to secure as much shelter as they can for those sleeping outdoors. For those who will spend the night outside, Gunderson Health plans on deploying its homeless outreach team into area campsites to take care of medical needs that may arise.
It's going to be wet. We could have people with frostbite, people with, that are sitting in wet clothing, which then they have trouble staying warm. So it is important that we are checking on people.
And earlier, guys, I spoke to a representative from the city. She says right now there are no plans to open up its emergency day shelter. For now, we're live in La Crosse. Jeremy Wall, News 8 Now.
All right, thank you, Jeremy.
Jeremy referring right there to the Southside Neighborhood Center, which the city utilized as an emergency shelter during last year's winter conditions. Well, ahead of the bad weather, the city of La Crosse has declared a snow emergency beginning tomorrow morning, which means alternate side parking will be in effect. Enforcement will start at 6 a.m. and last 48 hours, ending on Thursday. So on odd-numbered days, you should park on the side of the street with odd-numbered addresses. And then on even-numbered days, park on the side with even-numbered addresses. To stay on top of snow emergency alerts, you can sign up for text notifications on the city's website. We'll have a link on all of our digital platforms.
A La Crosse man has been arrested after launching a projectile at police. On Saturday, La Crosse officials say 30-year-old Sean Keller launched an unknown projectile toward an officer's car while driving by. The object exploded with a flash of light and damaged the window and door frame of the squad car. Keller drove away and did not stop for officers. In the last 6 months, Keller has allegedly shown similar behavior in 3 other incidents, including throwing ice and allegedly spitting on squad cars. His arrest warrant included a $100,000 cash bond.
The competency of a Toma man accused of trying to kill 2 people on Thanksgiving is in question. In a Sparta courtroom this morning, 44-year-old George Solis's attorney requested a competency exam for his client. According to the criminal complaint, Solis and his family were watching football when he suddenly stabbed one of the victims with a kitchen knife on Thanksgiving Day. When a family member tried to step in, Solis also tried to stab him. The first victim was taken to Gunderson with life-threatening injuries. Solis is currently held in Monroe County Jail on a $500,000 cash bond. His next hearing is in February.
Wisconsin Republicans have unveiled their new medical marijuana proposal. The bill would limit medical marijuana only to severely ill people with chronic diseases like cancer. It would also only be dispensed at 5 state-run locations. Smokable marijuana would not be allowed. Governor Tony Evers' spokesperson says he will review the plan. The measure is far from the full legalization Evers and Democrats have pushed for over the years.
A long-term state representative from Winona has announced he will not be seeking re-election. In a statement released this week, Legislative District 26A Representative Gene Pawlowski Jr. says this will be his last year in the role. He served in the Minnesota State Legislature for 38 years. During his tenure, Pawlowski served as the chair of the Higher Education, Finance, and Policy Committee. He also chaired the Government Operations and Reform Committee.
A lawsuit could potentially set a precedent for artificial intelligence.
OpenAI is pushing back against the New York Times claims that it violated copyright law.
Hy-Vee hot deals are burning hot. Get bone-in pork shoulder roast, just $1.48 a pound. Marie Callender's bowls or Healthy Choice steamers, just $1.88. And buy 2, get 2 free on select Coke products. Only at Hy-Vee.
It's a robotic money expert.
Clever. How do I start a savings habit?
Famous cabbage.
Savings habit.
Shaving rabbits. Tech can make life simpler, but when it comes to savings habits, nothing's as simple as BMO. A BMO savings account helps you build the habit with a cash reward every month you save.
Cash reward. Ingenious.
Sardine Fest.
This year's top prize goes to BMO.
I'm just in it for the saving, but it's nice to be recognized.
BMO.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you equipped with quality tools and project supplies because we get you. Whether you're a hardworking pro or an ambitious DIYer, we get you what you need to get the job done. Right now, save on these 4 packs of DeWalt batteries, $179. $10 off these 250-foot rolls of indoor wire. Plus, trade in any used power or hand tool for exclusive trade-in savings on select DeWalt tools and accessories. We get you what you need because we get you at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
To everyone who appreciates a handcrafted meal, are you ready for a taste of Wisconsin?
Butterburgers cooked fresh, just the way you like.
The way you love.
Definitely love.
And our thick and creamy frozen custard, we make it for you all throughout the day. All day.
All day, every day. Put it in the extra work and not cutting corners. Takes a little longer.
But it's how we've always done it at Culver's. Because making your meal with care shows how much we care.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Save every day with Hy-Vee Perks prices. Campbell's Chunky or Well Yes soup. Hy-Vee Perks price $1.99. Fresh Express garden salad. Hy-Vee Perks price $1.48. And Ore-Ida potatoes. Hy-Vee Perks price $4.99. Sign up for Hy-Vee Perks today.
OpenAI is pushing back against a New York Times lawsuit alleging the artificial intelligence service violated copyright.
In a blog post, OpenAI said the suit is, quote, without merit. The New York Times sued OpenAI and its business partner and investor Microsoft for copyright infringement last month.
The Times alleged their AI technologies illegally copied millions of Times articles to train ChatGPT and other services to provide people with instant access to information. It claims those services now compete with the Times. OpenAI reiterated today that training AI systems with what it called publicly available internet materials is covered by fair use protections under copyright law. In its complaint, the Times said there's nothing transformative about using its content without payment to create products that substitute for the Times.
Americans' attitudes about inflation have improved. In fact, they haven't felt this good about it in 3 years. That's according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's December survey of Consumer Expectations report. That survey tracked median inflation expectations 1, 3, and 5 years ahead. All 3 periods showed declines. The survey also found expectations about credit access and overall financial health trended upward. We might get a better picture of inflation later this week when the Bureau of Labor Statistics releases the Consumer Price Index and the Producer Price Index for the month of December.
Apple announced its Vision Pro mixed reality headset goes on sale in the U.S. on February 2nd, and pre-orders start January 19th. The device looks like a pair of ski goggles. Its underlying technology lets users overlay virtual images on live videos of the real world. Unlike some other headsets on the market, the device displays the eyes of its users on the outside. CEO Tim Cook is calling it the most advanced consumer electronics device ever created. The headset is the company's most ambitious new hardware in years, and starting at $3,500, it's also one of the priciest products.
Got that right. With the winter storm approaching, it is important to remember how the cold can affect our bodies.
Tips on how to stay safe and healthy after the break.
And we have lots of snow this weekend starting tonight and tomorrow, but we got several other opportunities later. But we also got some really cold temperatures, bitter cold, coming towards the end of the week and next weekend. I'll break down when to expect it, how much snow we might actually see. All that coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
When the insurance company sees Bygolf and Roadie on the other side, they know they're in for a fight. It's your life, but it's our fight. And they know that if they're not being fair with us, they will find themselves in court, and that's how Bygolf and Roadie gets results for its clients.
It's about passion. It's about achievement. It's about hands-on. It's in our history. It's in our present and future. It's time to explore what Chippewa Valley Technical College is all about. Find us online at cvtc.edu and see what's in it for you.
At Overhead Door Company, we repair any garage door and only install the best. Serving up to 100 miles outside of the Onalaska, Wisconsin area. When you need a door company you can trust with your life, call Overhead Door Company of the Seven Rivers region.
With 6 crunchy beef tacos plus a pound of potato olays, our 6-pack in a pound is perfect for date night, movie night, 1,000-piece puzzle night, camping, tailgates, or any day that ends in Y. Get $2 off the 6-pack in a pound, only from Taco John's.
Are you looking for a high-paying career without any experience? Chart Industries has the opportunity you've been waiting for. Starting wage $30 per hour, highest pay in the area, guaranteed 40 hours, and so much more. If you are making less than $60,000 and want a healthy work-life balance, apply at jobs.chartindustries.com today. That's jobs.chartindustries.com.
If you've been in a serious accident, you need a serious legal team. By Goff and Rohde is the Western Wisconsin powerhouse. Attorneys who won't settle for less than you deserve. Call By Goff and Rohde.
Welcome back. As temperatures dip, it's important to remember that winter weather can be hazardous to health and safety.
In recent years, death rates across the country have been 8 to 12% higher during winter months, according to data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
From frigid air to ice and snow, cold temperatures can take a toll on our bodies.
We shunt blood flow to the central kind of core of our body in an attempt to stay warm.
Dr. Christopher Bozzoli is an emergency physician at Cleveland Clinic. He says this time of year, doctors not only see rises in ER visits for respiratory viruses as more people seek refuge inside from the cold, but also frostbite and hypothermia. Bozzoli says what you wear can help keep you safe. Protect the parts of your body most vulnerable to frostbite, like toes, fingers, nose, and ears, by dressing in warm, dry clothing.
Lots of layers, and especially the layers close to your skin. You want to have breathable fabrics if possible, especially if you're engaging in activity.
Bozzoli says a sudden change in temperature and humidity can also irritate certain medical conditions like asthma. He says to make sure you have enough medicine on hand, and if you use an electric medical device, make sure you have a way to back it up if the power goes out. He says to also be aware of how you heat your home.
We don't want to run any engine-operated equipment or gas or propane-powered heating devices indoors because of the risk of carbon monoxide.
He says it's also important to check on those who are most vulnerable in frigid temperatures, especially young children and older adults.
Make sure any children younger than 1 are sleeping in warm rooms, ideally between 68 and 72 degrees. Similarly, if you have friends or neighbors older than 65, be sure to check on them frequently to ensure that their homes are adequately heated.
All good tips to keep in mind because winter conditions are hitting us as of tonight, and it's going to be a busy week on the weather front, Greg.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a busy week, and I think travel issues towards the later half are going to be worse because the temperatures are not going to be warm enough to have salt that's even going to help. So this storm is just going to be a little bit more wetter, not so wet, but definitely on the wetter side for snow. So that's why we're seeing snow, blowing snow conditions too. Most of the worst conditions will be south of I-90, less as you go further north. Actually, if you get towards US 8 up to Ladysmith, not much in the way of more snow. And you can highlight this with the winter storm warnings in pink, winter weather advisories further north, and then really nothing as you go towards Ladysmith. Snow-wise, 6 to 12. A lot of these higher amounts will probably be in the higher elevations, the bluffs, if you get towards that range. But Crawford County is one of the spots with the best range, and then you go further north to La Crosse, it tails off until you get to 3 to 5 inches, and then up to the north is Ladysmith, maybe 1 to 2. Still have the wind and blowing snow, even with this light wind, especially in open country and in higher elevations. Overnight, you'll see the snow really south of La Crosse. We'll see a little bit of spread north towards the morning, but it's going to be south La Crosse that we're going to see most of the snow overnight. It'll begin just light snow, temperatures hovering in around freezing, so road conditions won't be terrible yet, but the rate will start to pick up. As we get towards about 7 to 8 in the morning, that's when the snow rate will start picking up, maybe approaching 1 to maybe even 2 inches down further south of the area. So that's probably going to be the worst timing as the snow comes down to a pretty good rate. Temperatures will cool a little bit down to 32. Winds start picking up. I think by the time we get to 10, 11, the rate starts falling off towards noon and kind of shifting eastward. So we'll still have light snow for La Crosse up to about Eau Claire, but it'll be more on the light side as temperatures kind of climb up above freezing for a lot of areas. Further north of Eau Claire, they'll probably start seeing the snow begin to taper off, maybe just flurries or a light snow shower. In the afternoon, the light snow continues, a little bit pushed back with the moderate snow, but then as we get towards 6 or 7 p.m., the snow really lightens up, but that's when the wind becomes the main story for most of the areas. It picks up behind the system, and that'll produce more blowing and drifting as the light snow really will continue for areas south and east of La Crosse, probably through about 9 or 10, and then starting to push eastward. So once again, the biggest, heaviest rate will be in the morning, but then tomorrow night we're going to have to deal with the snow and blowing snow, and especially as these temperatures get below freezing towards Wednesday morning, we might see some refreezing issues too going on. For snow amounts till 9 a.m., once again, heavier amount 2 to 4. This is not storm total, this is just till 9 a.m. Further north, less than 1 inch to 2 inches. North of Eau Claire, probably a dusting to a ½ inch at the most at this point. We'll pick up more as they go in the afternoon hours. That's when we'll pick up a lot more, probably between about 8 to noon. And then in the afternoon, it's just more light snow going on. Winds, still kind of breezy in the morning, but it's really going to be in the afternoon when we're going to start seeing those winds begin above 20 to 25 out of the north. That'll continue through tomorrow evening, and even as the snow ends, the winds continue, so blowing and drifting, ridge lines, bluffs, open country areas, definitely we'll see that. That's one factor to consider, and then once again, refreezing could be a problem going to Wednesday morning. So you break that down, here's what we're expecting. Heaviest snowfall rate, AM commute, lighter as you go further north, not much as you go Highway 8. Overall, snow cover, slushy roads probably through morning just briefly just because of the temperatures hovering around freezing. Afternoon, the snow rate begins to taper off, ending as you go further north. Then the wind becomes the main story for all the areas, especially further south. The snow for further south areas south of I-90 won't probably taper off to about 8 or 9, but the blowing and drifting will be a problem. Temperature still remaining above freezing probably till about 9 or 10, and then that may become an issue later on. Overall, that's not the only system. We have some snow Wednesday night, but this is the next one beyond this. Friday into Saturday to watch. The one big difference between this one and the current one, the track is not that far different, is the temperatures, probably about 10 to 15 degrees colder. Light, fluffier snow with this one, and the temperatures on behind it are probably the bigger story that's going to be seen. We're going to be dropping by this weekend with some wind chills to go with it and sub-zero lows behind the system. As you see, look all the dark blue behind there. So that's the big story going on in the 8-day. Once we get past the snow for tomorrow, we have a little bit of snow Wednesday night. Friday, Saturday, more snow, but blowing and drifting once again, and then the temperatures just bottom out as we get past Sunday, with potentially for even colder than that too. If cloud cover kind of plays a part, we could see temperatures teens, 20 belows, depending on how that plays out. But once again, take it slow tomorrow. It's going to be a wetter snow on the side, snow rate high in the morning, but salt will definitely help with this system because our temperatures will stay close to freezing for most of it.
Yeah, and bundle up, everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you, Greg. Coming up next in sports, the Badgers are climbing their way up the rankings in the latest AP poll. Plus, the green and gold playoff bound, and the Packers' postseason journey is now officially underway. Rob is up next.
New windows can give you a whole new view of the world around you. Call today for a prompt free estimate from the Board Store Home Improvements, 782-8877. your own 5-star experience at Dahl Auto.
Garbage day! Here you go.
Russell! I swear I've been seeing you everywhere.
I've been busy.
It's easy to see when you have a plumbing problem, but when it comes to your water, things aren't always so clear. Without water conditioning, your water may be doing more harm than good. Hard water can damage your pipes and appliances, leave spotting on dishes, as well as dry out your skin and hair. Contact the professionals at Maxwell White. More than a plumbing company, we offer comprehensive water conditioning. That's 2 great services under one roof. Enjoy cleaner dishes, softer and brighter clothes, and much more with a simple call to Maxwell White. Water conditioning done right.
Everything is getting smarter. Good thing your Touchstone Energy Cooperative has the knowledge and expertise to help you make smarter, work harder. Today, there are more ways than ever to make your world more energy efficient, and we can show you how. Take the next step to go electric and put the power of your co-op to work for you. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your source for power and information.
In every department at Dahl Auto, you'll find people who've been in the industry for decades. In over 100 years at Dahl Auto, we've learned to value experience. After working with our team, you'll value our experience too. Dahl Auto, simple.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now's Rob Schiff.
The youngest team in the NFL, a first-year starting quarterback, and some truly tempered expectations in Green Bay. But despite all of that, when the final whistle blew on Sunday at Lambeau Field, the Packers' playoff ticket was officially punched. It's the oldest rivalry in the NFL, and on Sunday, it was the same old story. It's been pretty one-sided the last few decades, and the Packers adding to that dominance yesterday with a playoff spot up for grabs. And in his first year under center, Jordan Love putting an exclamation point on a fantastic season as QB1 of the Green and Gold. 27 of 32, just 5 incompletions on the afternoon, 2 touchdowns, and when it was all said and done, after a season full of ups and downs, the Packers' postseason journey is now just getting started.
We believed in this locker room. We stuck together, and that's all you need. All we got is all we need, and the process was there. We got better each week, and to come out on the right side of this is amazing, especially after being in the situation last year.
Through all the ups and downs, all the hard work we put in, it just feels great to get what we deserve. All the doubts that people had on us and everything, we just kept chopping, and we got to this point.
So it's going to be the Packers and Cowboys Sunday from Dallas at 3:25. The new year's been good to the Badgers as well, and Wisconsin climbing 6 spots in the latest AP poll after back-to-back conference wins last week. The Badgers now sit at 15th in the country. Wisconsin took down Iowa last Tuesday, and then over the weekend, the Badgers made it look easy at home against Nebraska. 16-point win over the Cornhuskers. That improves Wisconsin's overall record to 11-3 on the year. They're 3-0 so far in conference play. They're one of 3 Big Ten teams in the top 25. Illinois is at number 10. Purdue is number 1 in the country. Next test for the Badgers comes Wednesday on the road in Columbus against Ohio State. On the pro hardwood tonight, and the Bucks look to get back on track as they play host to Utah. It's been a rough stretch for Milwaukee as of late. Bucks have dropped 3 of their last 4. Both Dame Lillard and Cam Payne are ruled out tonight's game, which means a lot of the onus will be on Giannis' shoulders, and two-time MVP has been one of the bright spots over the last 4 games. Continues to dominate. He's averaging 37 points, 15 boards, and 7 assists, but now he'll have to do it without his number 2 guy. Tip time is set for 7. Packers playoffs.
Yeah.
We could get, I know it's a long shot, we could get Green Bay, our Packers, against Emily's Texans in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the Lions made it too, right?
Yeah, of course the Packers will do away with the Lions in the playoffs, but calling it now. Thanks, Rob.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
Here's our problem. Without the hearing aids in, she can't hear the low frequencies, so she doesn't hear me. I don't hear the high frequencies, so I don't hear her. It was a perfect setup. but we had to interrupt it. We had time, and we were coming down Main Street, and I turned in.
It's not like you're going to strangers. It's kind of family-ish. To come here, you feel like you belong with them. I just think it's very comforting that they're a family business.
Better Hearing Center, Onalaska, next to St. Pat's Church.
Thousands of people are switching to Spectrum Internet.
We count on Spectrum Internet and the advanced Wi-Fi to always keep us connected and protected.
It's so reliable and fast.
Ever since we switched to Spectrum Internet, our daughter's curiosity has a new spark.
Now we're saving a ton.
Amazing.
Switch to super fast Spectrum Internet with the most reliable internet speeds for $49.99 a month with no added taxes or fees, plus free advanced Wi-Fi and no data caps. Call 833-391-4999 or scan to call.
Call now.
Our composite windows are the clear choice for your home. This window is 12 times stronger than vinyl, 2,000% more airtight, and 40% more energy efficient, all at a price less than what many companies charge for vinyl windows. What does this mean for you and your home? Our composite windows make you more comfortable and save on your energy bills.
You're such a window nerd.
I've done my research, so you don't have to.
Come visit our new showroom and test the window nerd's knowledge. Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions, your choice for quality, affordable windows.
All right, some things to consider for the storm coming too. So get that handy probably this evening because things will be not quiet as we go throughout. The clicker didn't work, but anyway. We got snow coming here Monday, and then we have more snow, and don't forget the temperatures towards the end of the week.
All right.
They're going to drop.
Thanks for joining us at 6.
All right, we'll see you at 10.